possible. And as usual, we'll ask questions. I think this one is going to be interactive because I'll be expecting you people to participate. And then there's sometimes that I will expect you people to give me feedback as we are going along. Sorry, I am having issues with my laptop. Brilliant. Last week we talked about planning for your week. That was one of the essence we talked about. In creativity, we talked about that as creatives, as freelancers, sometimes we think that we're free because we can beat the system and get away with so many things. We try to use shortcuts all the time. But what we are saying is that, yes, there are tools that can give you shortcuts. However, you have to do the work that matters. The work has to be done. No one else is coming to do the work for you. You have to do the work by yourself. And it takes a lot of confidence for you to sit down, do what matters, and stay on track, which is what we are going to talk about today. Pens and papers, take notes, take action, because the actions you take every day is what differentiates you from every other person doing this course. So before we begin, I want everybody, let's do a check-in quickly. And this is what you're supposed to do. Give me one word or phrase that describes how you are feeling right now. My own, I will say it's one word. I will say overwhelmed, which is a good word, and I will look at the positive sides of it. And the reason I chose, it will tell me the word or phrase, and this is the reason I chose overwhelmed is today I've had to make calls, send emails, and I don't like doing such transactions, especially when you're calling the different departments and they're like, oh, you have a referral. Yeah, you're going back and forth. So that's has gotten me tired and overwhelmed. And I also look at the fact that being overwhelmed, at least I can identify that emotion and I am doing something about it, which is shutting down that aspect and facing it tomorrow. So I'll call on Gloria. One word or phrase to describe today, and I'm starting with you for a very wonderful reason. One word or phrase that describes how you're feeling today. Hello? Hello, Indamala? Okay, she's not on the call. So let's go to Karis. Karis, one word or phrase that describes how you are feeling today and why you chose that phrase or that word.
Uh, I'm in between words, I guess,
You can be
because
free.
yeah, I'm tired, but I'm also like pumped.
Good.
I'm tired mentally because I was working, and creativity has a way of draining energy.
Yes.
But then I went to the gym in the afternoon, and it
Okay.
was a fun session. So tired but pumped.
Okay, I like that. Tired but pumped. Love that. I think you found what helps you to get into that creative mood. And for you, it seems to be something like a physical exercise, going to the gym. All right, thank you. Lola, one word or phrase that describes how you feel.
I'm tired. I am physically tired, but I was quite alert today, even despite that. But physically, I'm tired. Yeah.
Okay, we've got tired. So, why did you choose tired?
That's me being completely honest.
Hmm.
I was dreaming of sleep when I was at work. I was just like, I
Oh,
need to just like literally come home and lie down on my bed and rest. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, I was just questioning, oh, how can I make sure that I get enough sleep during the week?
Mm-hmm.
What am I was just questioning myself, what am I eating? Am I eating good enough to like keep my energy levels up? I was just questioning myself to
Okay.
why I was feeling so exhausted. Yeah.
All right, thank you. You pick the next person to speak.
Okay. I pick Komi.
All right, Comfy, you're next. One word or phrase that describes how you feel.
I would say gratitude. I'm
Okay.
grateful.
All right.
Yes. So I think within the week I had I think I don't know how to put it, when you least expect something that would be like a challenge or
Mhm.
uh that just comes unexpected, and it tends to want to take a toll on a lot of things around you. But when you look at, you know, that you're still pushing and you're still thriving, and it's something for me to be grateful to God for.
Okay.
So I choose the word gratitude because I think I didn't really let it get the best of me,
Mhm.
because if it would have, I think I would have been really down, hurt, and I don't think I'll be in my right frame of mind. But I chose gratitude, and that has really made me overcome it,
Mhm.
not let it get to affect my work, and it didn't really affect my personality. Like, I go out and knowing fully well that I still have this issue to tackle, and I
Yeah.
just, for the fact I'm alive, I think it's something that I know I can handle, and we go by my side. So I choose gratitude. So I'm grateful for the challenges that comes, and me still standing and being able to still do one or two in the midst of it.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so we're going to pick to speak next.
Mayan.
All right, Mayan, you're called up. Hi, Mayan. Mayan sometimes joins with two systems because one of our systems, the audio isn't working. So I'm not sure if that's what she's doing. She said, "Oh, I feel excited and energized." Hello. Hi, Mayan. All right, I think everybody has spoken apart from Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, we'll go to you. Emmanuel, you've not been talking since. Your audio was off completely. Emmanuel, you can type in the chat like Mayan. And one thing I would say is I like the fact that everybody is talking about how they feel. Sometimes when we are tired and we're overwhelmed, it's Christianese to say, "Oh, I'm not tired, I'm not overwhelmed, I'm not worn out." But even the book of Lamentations tells us to shows examples of what we should do. So as the fact that we are tired, but we're taking a positive turn towards it, to say, "Okay, but I still feel pumped, I still feel energized." It shows that we enjoy what we're doing, but that doesn't mean creative work is easy. And I don't want to start a debate, but we're having a conversation today about creative work. And the streamers always say, no, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of work. But it's your job. So we're going to be treating our creative work as a that we may not love, but pays us at the end of the day. All right, so what we're going to do today is about starting small. So most of us here have projects or things that we want to do. And when I say start small, poco a poco, take those tiny steps first. Those tiny steps may feel like they're insignificant. For example, you want to go to the gym and you're not used to going to the gym. The first day you can just go to the gym and work out. That's starting small. Or get the outfit you're going to wear to the gym ready. So you don't have to start thinking of what to wear. That's starting small. And it's about making a mess and not being scared. And we call that jaga jaga here. So sometimes when I say creativity starts with jaga jaga, productivity starts with jaga jaga. It may start with it, jaga jaga, but it's not going to end with that. So it's about giving yourself permission to make a mess. Some of us want every single thing to be perfect. Now, we're not saying we'll produce lazy work, but you need to start somewhere. observe, and then build consistently, improve consistently. Because every single step, every meaningful journey begins with a single step, rather. Because if you don't start moving, even you say, okay, I'm driving, I'm not walking, you have to turn the engine on. Oh my, whatever you're doing, you need to take that step, that very first step, and keep on taking steps. Some people take one step forward, and this may have happened to you, Autism. It happens to me. When I stopped my diet, it was like I was doing well at taking steps forward. But one day, temptation, I just went back and I took 2 steps back, and I've not been able to move forward in dieting again. That's for me. Oh, I want to go and exercise. But that day I went there, I just didn't like the way people are looking at me. I've taken 2 steps back. But if we continue speaking the truth to ourselves and keep on trying, we'll realize that messy starts are sacred. The fact that your handwriting, the first day you wrote something, is not the same with your handwriting today. If you're a painter, the first day you painted is not the same. Because what you're trying to do with your creative journey is build that rhythm that will stick with you. And the only way to build a rhythm is by consistency. And the only way to change as you are being consistent is by studying your patterns. Because over time, when you've studied your patterns, you're consistent and consistently improving, taking that tiny step every day. One day it will create the momentum that you need. And you may not see it coming. There are some things that we learn now. There are some things that we do subconsciously. When others are saying, how did you learn this? And it feels like it's an important thing to them. To you is a walk in the park. You did not even notice that you have become good at it. That's how creativity sneaks in. Some of us, we think that the creative blueprint will be given to us at once. No, it's something that is important, and we have to consistently let go in order to build up. And we're going to be talking about the artist way in a little bit today. But one thing I just want us to know as we're doing all these things is make an attempt. Be faithful with that attempt that you're taking. You don't have to take a giant leap. It might just be that tiny step. Get that notebook if you want to write. Write daily. Watch tutorials on improving your design. Those little things, so that you are consuming content in a wonderful way. Everything is content. Your movie is a content produced by someone. The books, every single thing in front of you, the ads, everything. But if you keep on overfeeding yourself and not improving yourself or not taking tiny steps, then you're going to be taking 10 steps back, not just 2 steps back. So does anybody have an idea why I think starting small matters? I have answers on the board, but I just want to see what anybody has a different perspective. Why does starting small matter? Or is it not important? Yes,
Sorry. I think starting small matters because it prevents you from feeling overwhelmed and it prevents you from being stressed.
Okay.
Sometimes when people put too much of a high expectation, it's good to want, to achieve the best and do the best. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's one step at a time. And just like you said also on your presentation, I believe that starting small helps to build your confidence and helps you to build trust as well. So that's my reasoning.
Okay, true. It helps build confidence, and for everybody it will be something. But why do you think we struggle with small starts? Caris, why do you think creatives struggle with those tiny steps that may be seemingly insignificant? Why do you think they struggle with that? Is John Caris in the room? Let me check my chat. Yes, Caris, you're here.
Yeah, but can you hear me though?
I can hear you now.
All right. Sorry, the question again.
Why do we struggle with just taking those tiny steps? Why do we struggle with creativity being messy? Why do we struggle to do the tiny, tiny steps? Why are small actions not important or okay, put it this way. Why do tiny steps seem insignificant to creatives? It doesn't have to be about you, but it could be as for creatives.
I think it's because, as a creative, you're looking at the big picture all the time. Somebody sees one brush stroke, but you've seen the whole painting, right? Now, one brush stroke is what you can call a small step. But because you're looking at the whole painting, you want to get the whole painting done now. So you trying to find a way to get the painting done as fast as possible is already wasting the time that you'd have used to start with the small strokes. I think that's the best analogy I can give it. I don't know how to say it in a more corporate way.
It is. It is a good one. And the more we have conversations about things like that, it helps us understand that we are not alone on this journey. Comfy, you're up.
Okay, let me just add a little to that. I think one of the reason we often struggle as creatives is we want everything to be perfect. We imagine the big like picture, polish, end result, feel like everything isn't good enough. So it now makes us feel as if, am I really even making headway? So if we want everything to be perfect, it's definitely going to give us struggles, because I think even the Bible says, let's start small, then the greater end shall be that little start we have. Then I think another thing is comparison trap. You look at someone and you feel, whoa, this person has everything, all together, everything, in place. And we tend to lose that insight of focus that we are actually different. Yeah, his small might just blow up, while yours, it's a gradual step. So we now start looking at our small beginnings, and we feel insignificant, like we're not really making headway. Am I really even on track? Am I really in the right direction? Then another thing is lack of structure.
True. No
If
structure.
we don't really have a foundation, like this is what I want, this is where I'm heading to, this is how I want to start, we would really struggle with that small beginning.
Yes.
That as creatives, overthinking. You overthink, oh, that's it. You might have endless ideas, so it makes it hard for you to even narrow it down into that small beginning. So that's just my
interesting. I love the fact that you are looking at narrowing it down, and we understand that we don't have structures. And on our creative journey, this is what I would say. This is not part of the slide, but after listening to Caris and Comfort, if anybody writes in the chat, please just draw my attention to it so I don't get distracted. But one thing I know, and one thing we've always hammered, is that what we do daily matters. We are so focused on building for others that we fail to build for ourselves. If we have these dreams, if we have these desires, and we trust God, why don't we trust Him enough to start doing something about it daily? So when you're thinking of your daily plan, you have set aside time in the day where you say, this creative work that I have been given, I will take a tiny step to do something small. It doesn't have to be something that is mind-blowing, because those steps we take daily are rewiring our brain. We are figuring out how we work. But sometimes we procrastinate because we feel that, when I have time, I will do it. I always say later is not on my calendar, neither is it in my neither is it on the clock or in my planner. No, when you are saying you want to do something, set aside time. Because when we don't do that and we are like, oh, I want to improve this week, I will do something about it. This week I will read, and you keep saying what you will do, but you never do anything. So that's why we have daily accountability. weekly reflections, and monthly map outs. Every day you give account of what you've done. Then you do a reflection about the week and then plan for the next week. And at the end of the month, you map out, you do your reflection first, you do your way audit. What have I done this past month? And then you map out the new month. Those little things are important because the planning is there in all of them. The execution is there. It's the difference between intention, actions, and results. So when we are doing certain things, even when we are doing your daily accountability in the WhatsApp group, if you don't want people to know the specific details of what you are saying, you give it a code. Now I have started saying life admin. I've divided mine into 3: life admin, practice admin, and personal admin, or whatever. But now I'll be like, okay, today I'm going to work on life admin. That means I'm just looking at areas of my life. So today was like wellness life admin day for me. Calls, emails, the lots. But if I wait till I have time to do all these things, which I seem to procrastinate sometimes, we are human. We'll forget. And we need to build that rhythm that works for us. We are not taught how to be productive. We are expected to know how to be productive. And that's why we talk about comfy productivity a lot, which is getting comfortable with the idea of being unproductive, which makes you comfortable with productivity. But you have to trust yourself and create that steady rhythm. And that rhythm enables us get recovery. How many creatives here are tired? And my definition of tired is every day something new. The industry is just getting overstimulating. You've not learned one thing, a new thing has come. The things that you want to do, even if you do well, if you have not gone viral, if you're not doing what Pella is doing and being a nuisance, if you're not doing what anybody is doing, or playing pranks and doing all these things to get attention, nobody pays attention to you. So you've created something magnificent that you know that will help people. You've done something for a client and you feel, I've listened to this client, I have done it. You have this dream, you have this passion, but you know that the people that it is targeted at cannot even afford it. So you're like, okay, even if companies want to sponsor, how many creatives feel exhausted about the creative industry as we speak? You can do show of hands, or you can just write me in the chat. I do. The creative industry is overwhelming and it is growing at a rapid speed that we need to do a lot to keep up. But sometimes it's overwhelming keeping up with what's going on in your industry. It's exhausting. So you're like, okay, am I supposed to, today somebody has come and told you, don't tell us your name in a video. Another person says, oh, you need to do certain things to gain attention, but you are on your own filming. Some of us are comfortable in front of the camera. Some of us are not. Everybody has what's going on with them, but their lack of trust. So to build yourself up, small actions daily, build trust with yourself, and then have that reading that enables you to move forward. Now, the question I have for everybody is this: what's one thing in your life that began small but grew into something significant or meaningful? I think I will start this one and then to give everybody this. And I've told this story 1,000,001 times, and it's about how I got into the creative industry. I got into the creative industry accidentally. I call myself an accidental designer, but it all goes back to 2011, where I was watching a Chris Delvan video and he said, unto the knowledge of the glory of the Lord takes over the earth as the water covers the sea. People were getting into blogging and writing, so I started doing that partially, but I wanted to start a stationery business. Now, that dream to start a stationery business was a small seed that I kept on growing. And then things have changed in between. Now I am doing what I do as a consultant, as a coach, as a podcast host, but I would never have done it if I didn't take that tiny step in 2021. So I took that step, went back to school 2012, kept on taking tiny steps, and I did not even know the impact those steps were having on me. Now, hosting the girls for the Bible study that I had in my house, just hosting them, blah, 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 like 30 or so, led me to the radio station. That was a tiny step of just saying, come together, I have a place, let's pray together. we don't know the impact of the actions we are doing today. Maybe watching one yoga video and saying, I'm going to do something about it, made you get your yoga satisfaction. Maybe you are curious about a French class and you're like, which is interesting, now you're teaching French. The tiny steps we take make us grow. However, this time all of us are going to talk. There are 4 things on the board, and you're supposed to rearrange them for yourself. So please rearrange them in the chat. Which one do you notice most in yourself right now when it comes to overwhelm, perfectionism, comparison, all or nothing thinking? So we've said there are 4 things that prevent people from starting. So is overwhelm the one that you say will prevent you from starting? Because the issue is not finishing. Most people struggle with starting, and once they start, they just start running, but they just don't know how to start. So we've got 4 things on the board: overwhelm, comparison, perfectionism, all or nothing thinking. Which one is the one that prevents you from functioning or from starting? Isioma, which of these 4 prevents you from functioning to the best of your ability or from starting a project at all? And why? Hello, Isi.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So
I'm
we have
so
4 things
sorry.
on the board. Sorry?
I'm so sorry. I might not have been paying attention at
Yeah,
some
don't
point.
worry. But this one is something you can answer. Don't worry. I said that
Oh,
people struggle to start, right?
yes, sir.
And there are 4 things on the board that
Yes, sir.
are reasons people struggle to start. One says they are overwhelmed. There's too many options, too much pressure. Perfectionism, they are waiting for the perfect time. Comparison, measuring against others' journey, or all or nothing thinking. Which of these 4, so you're going to pick just one, it prevents you from starting any project? And the others, you can just write in the chat.
Okay, I think I can say comparison affects me sometimes because sometimes we as human beings we want to measure ourselves to an extent to see how well we're doing. And I think over time, sometimes I tend to dwell on that comparison aspect instead of just measuring and saying, okay, let me push myself. I'm like, okay, maybe I can't do it. So I think comparison sometimes brings what's the word now? What's the word? Self-doubt. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so comparison prevents you from starting. And that one thing I always say is let's be honest with ourselves when we're having this conversation. So everybody can write in the chat what keeps you from starting. And if you don't want to answer that question now and you want to think deeper about it, you can do that. But you need to know what stops you from starting. And if it's none of these reasons, figure out why you've not started. Look at it from this way. Some of you have worked with me as a coach for years. There are certain things you're supposed to have done, but you've not started. Why? It's a simple question. The answer to that question will be is what you need to work on in order to improve yourself. It's all about self-improvement. Let's stop outsourcing our self-improvements to others. Let's take ownership of our own journey. It helps us to be the best version of ourselves. And some of us, there's a gap between knowing and doing. And that gap between knowing something and doing it, there's fear. So I am a coach. I create workshops. I know I want to create a workshop. But in between me planning the workshop for this year that we are moving to November and doing that workshop, there's something that is guarding it, that is preventing me from moving forward to cross that bridge to go and start. And most of the time, that guard there is fear. There may be other obstacles that you come across, but fear and doubt kill more dreams than money. Some people say, oh, I don't have the money. Fear and doubt when you have the money, you won't even start because of these two things. So it's about understanding that you're working for the person you are, not the person you wish you are. Stop lying to yourself. I know I said it loudly. Stop lying to yourself. Be honest with yourself, because at the end of the day, it's about improving who we are. And everybody knows that I always go by my Jaga Jaga principle. So we start with the mess, but we don't end there. We are looking at this stage of your creative journey. If you are doing the 60-second Jaga Jaga video, you are just looking for movement. You're not looking at mastering it. You're not looking at being the best person. So it's movement over mastery. Mercy starts as sacred that you protect. Why will we get to mastery later? Because to get to a level that we're working together, that you have to be in mastery. But when they say slow and steady wins the race, it's not just a quote, it's the reality. Most of us avoid chaos. We avoid especially because the world is not fair to us anymore. When I got into this industry, 2011, 2012, it was a relatively new industry. So we were all growing together. People could make mistakes. Everybody was sharing ideas, blah, 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 blah. We were all enjoying the journey. But now, even starting slow and just having 100 followers, and you have a client, the client is telling you, why is nobody liking my page? We don't even want to grow slow. Everybody is buying followers, paying for comments. So if you, and bot followers do not buy from you. If you buy a follower, that person is not going to spend money on you. You want to build your own authentic audience that pay attention to you because they trust you and they see you as a credible individual. But it starts with being kind to yourself, not just nice, and giving yourself permission to have Jaga Jaga handwriting as you're starting. So if you are new in the industry or you're pivoting to a different area, give yourself permission to make that mess. And everybody has to answer this question by themselves. What part of your creative journey, where do you need permission to begin messy again? Not to do it perfectly. And if anybody wants to share, please unmute. I won't call names. But sometimes we need to give ourselves permission. I gave myself permission to fail in front of people. I don't care about it. That's just what I did. And that decision was like the best decision I made ever. Because my definition of success was not tied to the world's definition of success, but rather it was tied to me understanding what I wanted and understanding that I was on a journey. So you can close your eyes for a few seconds and think about it. Do you need permission to begin messy again? Is it in your creative journey? Is it in your spiritual journey? Whatever journey it is, you need to give yourself permission. So I'll give it one more minute, and then we'll move. And you can write in the chat when I call your name. Or you can talk to me about it. All right, comfort. Where do you need permission to be messy? Comfort.
Hello, Ma, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Where do you need permission to begin messy again?
When I'm learning something new.
And what specific area? So when you are learning about a new tool for your job, right?
Like it's my skill.
Okay.
So if I'm learning how to use a different method of approach, I think I just tell myself that it doesn't really have to be that perfect, but at least it's a headway for me to just try and see if my student would give me that, like if I could see that keen attention in them, or get this feeling like, yes, the teaching is not boring, it's exciting. And so if I'm trying a new method of teaching or a new approach to get their attention, I think I don't want to be perfect, but just be messy. Use different ways, and you find that there's no, at the end of the week, there's an X way or not.
Okay.
So anything I stumble or any method I use, I just feel I just need to, it's part of me mastering the different methods to see if I get my students paying attention. But I think when it comes to writing, I just feel, let me just be myself.
Okay.
Just write it the way it is, like you said, jaga jaga, just be raw. Say it, write it. Don't feel like, let me just try to compose it in this English or try to be structured, or no, when you're creating the message, let it drop the message before you now try to put one or two in place.
Okay.
The last is, I feel when life is overwhelming for me, I just tell myself like, it does not failure. When I'm overwhelmed, it's not failure. It's just me being human.
Good.
So,
I like that. When you're overwhelmed, there's no failure. It's just a human human interaction where you are interacting with the environment.
Just being human. So messiness for me is just, you living your authentic life. Like, yes, this is you. You learn the lessons and the beauty that you start, forming in different ways to try. So that mess is good.
Okay, thank you very much. I like that. It's good to make a mess. Mayan, yes, you've unmuted.
And it gives, at the end of it, you see that. Yes, ma'am. That's mine.
All right, thank you very much. Mayan, you're unmuted. Lola, get ready. Caris, get ready. Okay, I can't hear Mayan. Mayan, maybe your audio, we can't hear you. So perhaps you write in the chat. Because when you're on mute, we still don't hear you. Okay, Caris, then Lola. You need to give yourself permission to do something without doing it perfectly. What's that? Where do you need to give yourself permission to be messy?
Publicly, to be honest.
Okay,
I find myself being able to be messy when it's just myself.
Okay.
Whether I'm talking to, people who are very close to me, my special people, my loved ones, I find it easy to be very messy. Or when I'm doing a design just for fun, for myself, I can be messy, and I'm very, I'm okay with it, because to me it's a growth process. But the moment, I have to work with other people, new people, or in public speaking, then I become really hard on myself, and I'm like, you see, I'm trying my best not to mess this up, because if I mess this up, then I've really messed up, and then that puts me in a state of anxiety, and then I can't now, I
Deliver.
can't. Sorry.
You won't be able to deliver.
Yeah. I won't be able to deliver as much as I would have if I had just allowed myself to be messy. There's just this comfortability, when you're by yourself and you're messy and you make mistakes, you put it together again, and it's beautiful what you come up with. But the moment there's this pressure to deliver, you don't want to fail in front of, you don't want to be messy in front of, So that is where I need to, teach myself or learn how to give myself the permission to be messy no matter what. Because you know what, if I'm messy in public, if I make a mistake in public, it's a learning process for the people watching me and for myself. It's an embarrassing incident, but for the people who are wise, they will learn from it and they will never have to make that mistake. And because it happened in such a situation, it won't happen again. That kind of thing. So, but the distance between my A that's here and B being where I can allow myself to be messy is still quite a distance, but I'll get there someday.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I think most creatives have that struggle. And Comfort's hand is raised, so I will let her speak.
Yes, ma. I want to add to what he said. I actually agree with him. Because the truth is that we really don't tell ourselves the truth. So while he was talking, I was seeing it in a different perspective based on this brand Monster Loud. Nobody tells you the truth that when you go to the labor room or you scream, they just make you feel like, I just went there and I put and it was easy. This was the messy aspect of a lot of things. How did you get to where you are? It wasn't perfect from the beginning. Definitely there was, hurdles here and there, probably, bumpy roads and stuff like that. But when you make it look perfect, and I want to now make that attempt, and I'm not seeing it from the view you have portrayed it for me to see. And that's why I ask myself, like, you have extra superpowers. Like it's just so let's see those flaws in you. Then we learn from those mistakes you make and build up and try to make it easy for us when we find ourselves in such situations. So thank you, sir, for actually sharing, because we don't need to be all almighty and not let people know that yes, it didn't really just start that easy. Let's see those messy aspects of it. Let's see those mistakes you've made. But when you make it all perfect, and I come and I'm not seeing it that way, I just like to calm me. Because you didn't tell me the truth from the get go. Like I became a designer. It wasn't just a one-day thing. There was a lot of trial and errors. There was a lot of you didn't do it well. This did not align. But when you don't show us those areas and you just make it feel like, no, everyone can be a designer, just get a system and I now spend like 10 hours. I'll start swearing for you like, this is lying, like, because it was not true. Show me that messy aspect. Yes, show me that messy aspect. Let me know that yes, there was blood, sweat, and tears to get to where you are, not telling me that it's a smooth road also.
I think I like that. I love the way you've explained it, and I think it's just too perfect. That's an explanation that cuts across everything. We all go through it. We all need to give ourselves permission to be ourselves. When we are with others, we try to be wear a mask. And the thing they liked us for in our creative journey, when we start doing that and masking when you're working with people, you don't even show up at all. A part of you has to be willing to do the work. And there's a joy that I feel when I'm designing something. So sometimes I'll be designing my slides and I'm just so excited. I'm like, I can't wait to teach this. Then Maya said, I'm letting go of perfectionism, being comfortable just showing up daily. Exactly. Show up for yourself daily. Showing up messy is your authenticity. Exactly. And we said, look messy. We did not say, when you say productivity starts with jaga jaga, some people think that's a license to not improve yourself. No, by showing up for yourself every day and doing your daily accountability, weekly reflection. So you're planning for the week and you're reflecting. In the morning, you say, okay, these are the 3 tasks I'm going to do. Doing all these things combined is what positions you as the best in your industry. Because you become irresistible, AI won't be able to replace you. So let's give ourselves permission in whatever area we need to give ourselves permission. As creatives, yes, the thing is, most of us have worked in isolation for so long that coming for something like this where we share and get ideas and tips is foreign to them. As a result of that, most of the creatives are people that are introverted and just want to be in their own and create. But when you realize that this journey you are on, the struggles you have, others already have it, it kind of gives you comfort. It gives you that space to say, wow, I can scream and shout, but I can still deliver to the best of my ability. But start messing. All right, so if you are doing anything, what I want to try is a 1-1-1 rule. And it's 1 task, 1 time, and 1 trigger. Everybody's going to choose this. You choose 1 task, 1 clear, doable task. So you're monotasking in this thing. 1 task, not 10. It may be a task that will take you 15 minutes. I'm not looking at the attention, the task that it will take you to complete this task. I am asking you to pick 1 task. Yes, Comfort.
Okay, so Mayan said, I'm letting go of perfectionism, being comfortable just showing up daily. And she said, showing up messy is your authenticity.
Yes. I think showing up, for me, some people they think that, oh, when they have time, they will show up. And that's what kills most creatives. When you show up for the little things daily, you're training your mind. Listen, it's not about the money we have in our bank account as creatives. It's not about going viral. But it's about protecting and managing your most important assets, because we built our creative arsenal. Your most important asset is your brain, your ability to think. And if you're not training your brain regularly, but you're just consuming, you don't get anything done. You get excited. We all know the parable of the seeds. We get excited when we hear certain things. And after a while, that thing dies down. So we are planted on a rock. So most of us, our creative journey is rocky because we don't do things daily. We always want to wait for the perfect time. And your attitude to work, your attitude to your creativity shows up in your work. So 1 task, 1 clear, doable task you will do before next week, Monday. 1 time, exactly when you will do it. So you're saying, this is what I want to do. If you want to say why you're doing it, right, fine. Then trigger what will remind you. So for example, notifications don't do anything to me. I will see notifications on my phone. I will just be like, I'm not bothered, because we are over notified. But sometimes we can build ways to remind ourselves that we are supposed to do something. Somebody can say, okay, first thing in the morning when I'll pick up my Bible and pray. How am I going to know that I should not go into the other apps? Is there any trigger that once I put my legs down, I remember, oh, it's Bible I'm picking, I'm not doing this. Everybody has their cues or their triggers, something that reminds you to do what needs to be done. So phone notifications are fine. Getting an accountability partner and telling them what you'll be doing, and then they can also say you've not done it, it's fine. It could be, oh, when the news on ITV starts, that's when I want to do something. That's fine. But you have to choose it. Nobody's going to choose it for you. It's one rule. One task, as you're monotasking, the task should be doable. One time, exactly at 10 p.m. For example, with me, creative recovery, Mondays I'm here for 7 p.m. That's a specific time. So anybody that knows me now knows that that time is blocked out. They can't reach me, although some people still try. But I won't be as available as I would have been if I was free. I just want everybody to think about the fact that the journey you are, there's much more ahead of you. But the step you take today, the path you take today will help you lean your ladder on the right wall. Some of us have leaned our ladders on the wall that when we get to the top, we are like, why am I here? I didn't want it even in the first place. But it starts with you doing one tiny task. So, for example, somebody can say, oh, I will send out a client's invoice. I will book for my next workshop. I will create a landing page. Just choose that tiny task. And somebody talked about buildings, and that's why I said systems rather. The reason most of us fail is not because we don't know what to do, it's because we don't have a system. We do anyhow. Anywhere belle face, we face the belle. That's the direction we are going. If everybody is going somewhere, you're going there. However, what supports you are systems. There are some days that you will not feel like it's that system that you build that will sustain you. And we said the simplest system we are building is our daily, weekly, and monthly reflection, planning, and map out. That is the beginning of your journey, not the end, the beginning. So systems are scaffolds for shaky days. What system are you putting in place? My phone goes on do not disturb. That's a system I have put in place. So I have put a system in place where I teach on Mondays and Fridays. And before I do that, I will have certain things I have to do the other days of the week. That's a system I'm putting in place. A system doesn't mean buying the best software in the world, buying an AI robot. No, whatever you decide to use, you will train it to work for the person you are. There will be days where you are too overwhelmed, and because you have a system, you're able to make a decision faster. It will help you collapse time. Another thing I will say is this. Most creatives do not, I've forgotten what to say. If I remember, I'll say it. Most creatives do not have systems. They just set goals. They do their vision board, it's cute, and they keep moving. They don't create time to think, because on your calendar, you should have a day where a time, even if it's 30 minutes, where you're just thinking, reflecting, and pondering. They don't have time to reflect and plan. All you're doing is you're moving Monday to Sunday, you are on the move. Even when you're at home, your mind is on the move. You're thinking about 10 million things. Build a system, but start with your daily, weekly, and monthly system. It sets you up better than any other thing will. We won't really talk about habits. We'll just mention a couple of things. When you decide that one tiny task, you're going to give yourself a gift, a reward. I won't decide your reward. I will have said I'll buy everybody suya, but nobody. I've been told that people don't like suya anymore, so I should cut that out. But give yourself a reward. What's your cue? What's that notification you're setting for yourself that you will do it when you are supposed to do it? The reason I am very, very, very keen on building cues around your habits is that it creates that loop for you to sustain what you're doing. And I want you to think about the triggers as cues. When will you do it and how will you get reminded? What exactly will I do? So you're like, this is just reiterating everything we've said, but we just included a reward. How will I acknowledge it? I can acknowledge it by buying something for myself. I can acknowledge it by working on a pet project that I said I was not going to work on until I complete this one. But we're looking at micro habits. You are not trying to buy yourself a Lamborghini with these rewards that you're giving yourself. It's simply recognizing that you kept your word to yourself. Sometimes we are more comfortable letting strangers down than we are letting ourselves down. If it's someone else, fine. But as long as, well, when it comes to us, we are like, no, I have to work on other people's stuff. Why is that? Why are you not trusting yourself enough to believe what you believe about yourself and take action? So, and you can, I'll give you a couple of minutes to write now, because we've talked about integrating it into your system. And I want you to think about this. What small action feels possible after this conversation? What's one small action that feels possible after this conversation? I'll give a couple of minutes. There's no rush at all. Just, you know yourself more than I do. So you can think about it and say, it is not, don't think about the big steps, the small action. The small action can be register for a course. The small action can be get my notebook out. The small action can be listening to podcasts when I'm on a walk. What small actions feel possible after this conversation? The second one is, how can you protect time and energy for it? Are you going to say, oh, you live in a crowded house, you go and spend a couple minutes of in the bathroom to do it? Are you going to do it before you get home? How can you protect your time or energy for this small task? Let's do it this way. When you guys are true, let me know. One article for Substack, Friday, 8 p.m. Treat vegan dark chocolate sea and salt Albert. I love that. I love that. Mayan has already written that. So now you have to protect the energy for that Friday, 8 p.m. So we meet at 7 on Friday. So immediately after our session, you want to write your Substack. That's good because you're already in that classroom setting. So how can you protect your time and energy for it? If you live with others, tell them I'll be working at this time. The reason I am all for virtual co-working is it gives that sense of unity, but it also lets every other person know that this social media job that you're getting into is not just pen and paper. It's actually much more. You're not just designing on the computer every day. You are working with other people, and you are hereby improving your communication skills, because communication skills are one of the most important skills to have as an individual in this industry. And the final question is, who or what helps you stay consistent? Now, this is a tricky one because some people in our lives don't understand what we're talking about. But when I'm talking to my dad about certain things and he'd just be like, oh, cloud computing. I'm like, no, that's a different field from me. So who or what helps you stay consistent? Do you want it to be somebody in your industry that already knows it, or somebody that knows you well, but you're not on good terms because of your decision to go into an industry? So choose wisely. If for you, it's having my coffee helps me stay consistent. Okay, you get your coffee and you drink it. So who or what? The ball is in your court. Now, I talked a little bit about our accountability rhythm, and I have been setting intentions publicly makes me accountable. True. Yes, I like that, because when I've told others that I'm going to do it, then I have to show up. Co-working Friday, working sessions would help me stay focused. I think Oyinda and let's say Wednesday, we'll let you guys know if we're going to continue the co-working. Let us meet behind the scenes and plan. Because I think the evening and morning co-working sessions are great, that we should put that in practice. All right. So thank you, Mayan. Check in with yourself. Have a meeting with yourself. Your goal isn't to do everything. You can't do every single thing in this world. Thank God. It's to stay in motion, that consistent movement. And sometimes that movement is you lying down and doing nothing some days. But start your day well, end your day well. Start your day in a certain way, end your day in a certain way, right? So the end of the day, you're asking yourself, what were my intentions? What were my actions? What were my insights? What would I do differently? Actions, so intentions, actions. Intention is what you intended to do. Action is what you did. Exactly. Then this kind of you now get insights based on this. Then you now make a change. So those things are things that you should do daily. You should do daily. Don't even compromise on quality over quantity. Just show up first. So I mentioned that I have daily, weekly, and monthly accountability. But in reality, I have something else that many people don't do, and it's the midweek reflection. In the middle of the week, I sit down and reflect what has happened in the past week. What happened? What were the things I wanted to achieve? Did I achieve them? Okay, how can I ensure I stay on track? That is me tracking myself. Then at the end of the week, I will now do my reset and come back together. Yes, Comfy.
Okay, Lola said, spend 30 minutes learning about editing every Tuesday evening from 8:30 to 9 p.m. Phone must be on Do Not Disturb, and I must be in a relaxed state and dressed in comfy clothing.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I like that. I like that. So you know that this is how you need to be. For me, my room does not have too much light. It has to be dark so that I don't get migraines. Everybody knows what works for them. Find out what works for you. And the only way to find out if it works is by trying. So try. Try all the things you can try to ensure that you are able to do what we've said you will do. Remember, we're supposed to take one small step. So everybody is supposed to say or write down somewhere in the WhatsApp group, this week, my one small step is dash. I would have liked everybody to say it loud so that you will hear it and we can also hear it. So yes, so this week, my one small step is, you now put the answer there. And for me, my one small step is life admin audits. It's a small step. That's what I would say. It's a small step. And you need to tell yourself. So this week, my one small step is updating my whatever I've called it. Or my one small step is creating a quiz. Or my one step is writing on Substack every day, of which I published a couple of articles yesterday. But define your step clearly. Speak it out. Write it somewhere visible so you will know that you are doing just that tiny thing every day. My one small step could be, I don't go on WhatsApp till 12 o'clock. Before it should be, I don't go on emails till 12. And by 12, when people are on lunch break, I'm sending my emails. And by the time they're back on their lunch break, I've sent all my emails. So what is your small step? So my own small step could be, I don't go on WhatsApp because I think WhatsApp is getting worse than emails. I mean, so many groups, don't get me started. So I want you to think about the tiniest thing. So you start small, but you have to be steady. So we're going to talk about going steadily. What are the things you know to be steady? It's going to be one of the things we cover. And let your system carry you when your feelings fade. When you lost motivation, what carries you? Sometimes coming for this session hypes you, makes you excited, makes you want to practice. But in reality, immediately after this session, that feeling may fade. So how do you keep that constant communication open between you and those in the creative environment when you don't have the feelings? Your system will carry you. Your system would help you build something in this knowledge economy. But most importantly, I'm not choosing your task or your small step is what it is. So I want to hear it out. I want us to talk about it or type in the case of Maya. What small step are you taking this week, Comfort?
Okay, for me, is I want to activate my writing. I want to go back to writing my articles like fully, not procrastinating. I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. I think I want that to be a step. So it's a step I want to take this week to activate writing my articles.
Okay. And why is that important to you? Why do you think that's why is that important to you?
Because I think that's the only way I'm able to channel my thoughts. I have a lot in my head, and I think sometimes at my quiet space, I just feel it's best I write out those thoughts, because if I don't, then I might hardly remember at that moment what I wanted to do. So most times I put them like drafts, but I don't start. So I think I want to start. I have a lot of drafts, but sitting down procrastination is really
it's killing it softly.
So I want to take that over and go back to that book that I have drafted a lot of things and start. So it's the step I want to take.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Poco a poco. Mayan, let's see if your computer will let you shine today, because I really want to hear your voice. Oh, Mayan's computer is just misbehaving. Lola, this week, one small step I will take is... All right, Lola, we're just even about to end. So you need to state the small step you're going to take. No one else is going to do this for you. I always say that the reason I started DIY branding, because we have to do it ourselves, because nobody is coming. You have to do it yourself, because by not doing the things you're doing, you're not going to be able to impact other people's lives. But you have to do it yourself for yourself also. You have to do it yourself for yourself. You can't just continue the way things are. Because they work. It will not work at all. All right, do we have any questions?
No, ma, no questions, ma.
All right, okay.
Okay, Mayan said one small step, recording my thoughts daily.
Recording your thoughts daily, fantastic. So Comfort is writing, you are recording your thoughts daily. And I think we should just keep this promise we're making to ourselves. Let's show up, let's show out, and let's be the best version of ourselves. Trust me, it helps in the long run. Showing up daily for yourself, it's important. It builds that muscle memory you need, because we are in a rat race. Everybody is just chasing more. All right, if there are no questions, then I will bid all of you good night. Let me stop streaming. Honestly, when they start changing things, layouts, it just... All right, I'm just going to have to end the call. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I look forward to continuing having sessions with you. And Mayan, Comfort, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, Ma. Thank you,
All
Ma.
right, then.
Good night, everyone.
Okay. Good night. Bye.
Yes, Ma.